Proper Cantonese fried noodles call for fresh alkaline egg noodles, a steamer, a screaming hot wok, and real skills. I have none of that, so let's make it work at home. We start with the shopping. Even if they're not sold as alkaline noodles, dried versions are now readily available in supermarkets. The key ingredient to look for is potassium carbonate or sodium carbonate. It gives them a firmer texture, slower starch release, and faster browning. The anti-risotto, if I may. With that out of the way, non-stick skillet to remove the skill requirement. Keeping it one pan, we bring some water to a boil. Noodles in to par cook. We're not even aiming for al dente, but just enough to loosen, without the prolonged air drying and the screaming hot wok. The noodles will end up cooking during the stir-frying process, so we want to buy ourselves as much time as possible. The moment they're slightly bendy, they come out. We drain off as much moisture as possible, straight onto the serving plate to minimize washing, one even layer. Resist the urge to rinse under cold water. Unlike a noodle soup, we want the surface alkaline to help with browning. Instead, we let the steam carry some moisture away. Once the steam has subsided, we coat with a thin layer of oil to prevent sticking. Same pan, dumping the water of course, thin layer of neutral oil. Optional bean sprouts for crunch. No more than 30 seconds, just to remove the raw edge. Straight onto the serving plate once again to rest. We lower the heat to medium, a touch more oil if need be. Noodles in. We first move quite vigorously to allow the heat to evaporate the surface moisture, steaming and cooking the noodles at the same time. Once there's not much steam coming out, meaning there's a chance that we could get past boiling point, we spread our noodles into one thin, even layer. We crank up the heat, and for 1 minute, we treat this whole thing like a steak. Through heat, with help from alkalinity, we develop complex wheat notes like bread crust thanks to the Maillard reaction. We flip our minute steak after 30 seconds. Heat alone does not cook noodles. You need moisture to gelatinize starch. The irony of this method is, when our pan is at its hottest, there's the least amount of cooking going on. So we start cooking again. Scallion white for aroma and sweetness, and to start imparting moisture. Light soy sauce, which in its Cantonese name is the king of this dish. Optional dark soy sauce for color and sweetness. Optional oyster sauce for depth and sweetness. Overall, we're aiming for 2% salt of the weight of the dry noodles, as they tend to double in size. Once our pan is dry, we taste to see where we are. If it's done, great. Most likely, it's going to need more moisture. Chopsticks or tongs to lift most noodles. Thin layer of boiling water. Once you see a bit of steam, back into mix. This way you hydrate them much more evenly, as we have some thirsty sponges here. And you do this until you have the desired texture. Once you're happy, sprouts back in. Scallion green to wilt a bit. Once you can smell the fragrance from the scallion for the second time, stove off and we can plate. Same warm plate, we wipe off the excess oil if need be. You can hear the noodles scratching the surface of your pan. No wok, no hard to find ingredients, no skill. Please cook it.